And that's what struck me so odd as well with Rival's Game 2 composition is that they, last set minute, they go for the new Wah, decide that they're going to put it on Vo in
Nox
the
and
duo
new
lane
Wah, I think, yeah.
against a Jing Wei. And so that's basically the perfect case scenario for any Jing Wei player out there, because not only are you essentially allowed to free farm, because new Wah, all she wants to do really in the early game is free farm. She doesn't want to really be trying to go for over-aggressive moments. She doesn't need to take those engagements if she doesn't have to, and Jing Wei is in the same exact boat, except Ataraxia made the right move, going for the lifesteal options early on with the Devourer's Gauntlets. That gave him a lot of pressure throughout the laning phase, and he would constantly aggress onto Vo. We saw a couple of instances, in fact, of Ataraxia hovering that tower line, just constantly trying to poke out Vo, and I think he was very successful in what he was aiming for. And not only that, but his teamfight usage of the airstrike, very strong as well, always making sure to combo that alongside of his teammates' follow-up or setup.
Yeah, Ataraxia looked great. Give a little bit of credit over to Twig as well on that Erlong Shen. He did a great job sort of baiting in a lot of abilities and then just barely escaping out of those fights as well. So even though I feel like Prime certainly stood out as that, you know, MVP performance, it really was a team effort. My question, though, Taco, can they replicate that in Game 3? Can they get that same kind of picks and bans going that they were able to get in Game 2 with the Op Wash, you know, with the Baron and all those picks?
It's not going to be easy by any means, but I feel in a way that Rival probably not going to want to allow that Baron pick to go through yet again. If they're not going to be taking it for themselves, I would imagine this to be very similar to their Game 1 banning phase where they took out both Freya and Baron. They opted for Athena first and foremost, however, but I'm curious if that's going to remain the same here, because Obey does have an opportunity to choose to ban that away this time instead of the Chernobog.
Those are some really clean notes. Is that like military note-taking? Is that where that comes from? Look at that. That's crisp.
What?
I'm looking over there. I'm kind of jealous.
I was supposed to do this.
Yeah.
This
Well, I mean, I know it's your job. It doesn't have to be that fresh, that clean. Who you're not like that. All right. Well, I'll give you credit
I'm
for it.
I'm fully convinced. I would try to be coaching a team if I wasn't working for here. So.
They're looking good over there on that side there for Taco as the ban phase comes out. It looks like we are going to see Chernobog make it through, but not the Baron this time. Athena is also on the table as well, as Freya, Baron, Odin, and Naja have all been banned away, and Rival will indeed be prioritizing that Chernobog, so that global rotational ability as well as that tremendous lane presence all going to be in the hands of Vote, I would imagine.
I am a little bit surprised that Obey were this concerned about an Odin that they didn't want to have to try and deal with it, but I also feel like that might have been because of the fact that they wanted the Athena for themselves. That way they have a little bit of global presence to try and mash out the Chernobog. And Jing Wei, one more time for Ataraxia here, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not to mention, she is probably the best hunter matchup you could ask for into the Chernobog.
And I feel like I definitely hit this already, but Obey Alliance kind of have Rival a bit on the ropes here. One more win, and they take this set victory, and it would not be the first time today that, you know, maybe not an upset, but that there's been a surprising matchup. Energy down 2-0 to Dignitas earlier, and now Rival a bit on the edge as well. They can certainly still win this. It's not doom and gloom, but Obey have a shot.
I think you had it right the first time, Finch. I think it would most definitely be an upset if Obey were to take this set away from Rival. But it's... oh, no. Again! PrettyPriMe is really feeling himself so far in the fall split, and I gotta say I'm a fan.
It's one thing to pull that Opwash out and get that Game 2 victory with Rival off guard, but they know this Opwash pick. They played it last game. They certainly are a little bit more familiar with how Prime is going to be piloting it as well, and it was a narrow margin by which they run. If Prime had a 2-second longer respawn timer or a few more seconds on the ult coming back up or something like that, they might not have been able to win at all.
I mean, Twig was also just cutting it fairly close, I think, towards the end there, because I'm sure even Obey were not fully convinced at even up until the very end that they were going to be able to outmatch the Nike in terms of push potential.
She was close. Yeah, certainly was close to getting that one done, but this does show a little bit more reasons to why they prioritized that Odin ban earlier on, right? Because they wanted this Opwash to not have to worry so much about the cage, and they're going to pair that with the Sobek. So between the Athena and the Sobek, they will be serving up targets for this Opwash to take down.
Hopefully, Ataraxia and PrettyPriMe, they're going to really have to be on point with their follow-up, because while it can be really strong follow-up, you have to keep in mind that Obey could possibly encounter the same thing that I think Rival ran into last match, where they don't have very consistent burst damage. It's more so just shred over time. And with that in mind, I think that's exactly why we see Rival going for this heavy team dive composition.
Yeah, I like this. This Ravana, somebody who could be kind of an early aggressor, especially with the Chernobog making some global rotations and Thoth with the range. This is a way I feel like for them to get back there to that op watch, even beyond his big zoning tools, right? Ravana with the Mystic Rush and Chernobog can kind of just fly right to him. These all feel like answers to trying to get to this op watch.
But the same could be said for Obey on this Achilles pickup. I actually really like this Achilles because with Outwash and Jing Wei having steady shred potential, you just have Achilles come through with a cleanup on that fatal strike, and the executes, if Obey are able to pull it off, could possibly overcome that of the steady burst damage from Rival.
Well, who do you think is going to win out there, chat? Hopefully Obey has won over a few more hearts and souls in the chat after that excellent performance. How do you not want to ride with the op wash here? So go ahead and vote for us now. But what about you, Taco? Either one of these drafts got you leaning any particular direction?
If I'm being completely honest with myself, I'm definitely leaning a lot more towards Rival. I just value Chernobog pretty heavily with that Living Nightmare ultimate. I also feel as though Cerberus and Artio are great interrupting gods for initiation, and that's everything that Athena and Sobek are going to be trying to accomplish. Well, one of them will probably be designated for Peel. I would imagine it to be the Athena, but because Sobek probably a little bit stronger initiation with the Plux. It's just that if he's not careful, you never know when the Cripple Field or the Stingent Torments are going to cut you off.
You might end up initiating for the other team, and not quite in the way that you wanted. Either way, we'll find out once the action gets underway. We'll get it over to the casters for the game.
Thanks a lot, John Finch. I'm sitting here with Anatoly, and I just want to say, Toly,
yeah,
Apwash won the game.
Apwash was okay. I'm not going to lie. It has a lot of control damage and just a lot of slows and utility coming through that Gem of Isolation. But I don't know. At the end of the day...
Do you forget that I said if PrettyPriMe won the MVP, I'd make fun of you?
All right.
So you know what, Toly?
All right.
You know what, Toly?
All right.
Here it goes. You ready?
I'm ready.
You're not very cool.
Wow. That was extremely rude and uncalled for.
Obey Alliance being a little bit rude here, looking for the early game invade on the speed buff. And Team Rival ready to collapse on top of him. There's 3-on-3. iCeicebaby in some trouble. Going to sneak his way underneath the tower. Deathwalker also in some trouble. And Rival, healthy as a horse. Not a big deal whatsoever.
Deathwalker going to look for a little bit of poke, but I think this is still going to be fine for Rival despite losing their own speed buff.
They lose the speed. Oh, no, CaptainTwig did confirm it. I thought Wlfy was able to find the last hit. So a nice invade coming out from Obey Alliance over there on the right side of the map. That's going to send also Obey's mid laner to his own red buff to ensure that that isn't stolen.
The fact that iCeicebaby still confirms the red is so crucial. CaptainTwig now going back into the mid lane. When you're three-way splitting speed buff into three-way splitting backcamps, upon losing your purple buff for two-way splitting.
Where did he go?
By the way, he just teleported back to the solo lane when he was right there.
That's where it was. He wanted to ensure that this next wave wasn't going to hit his tower whatsoever. Xaliea making sure to eke every little bit out of it.
Wasn't going to lose that many minions at the end of the day. As Deathwalker now going to look for a blue buff invade, but this is so risky as a level 2 Artio. You don't have that much damage.
Well, iCeicebaby mid lane going to get one. PrettyPriMe able to trade out immediately. As Collis is still here, in trouble. Prime's in trouble. Gets him with the corpse and the explosion. Do you see what I mean?
Is he dead?
Oh, 3, 2. Oh, the shell. He would have been dead without that shell.
I think so too. I actually agree with you there. Xaliea actually not able to pick up his own blue buff after the steal from Deathwalker. So this is going to be an edge for the Artio player trying to get the edge of the Guardian versus Guardian slapbox.
Yeah, nice little tie game here, but I think Obey having the timers across the enemy jungle is going to be really important as long as they look to repeatedly invade. CaptainTwig a little bit more aggressive here on the Achilles. Very interesting to see where he's going to go.
Surprised to see, or not to see, iRaffer playing the Achilles. Every time Obey locked it in the previous splits, it's always been the support that wants that burst damage. I'm not surprised Xaliea is playing the Sobek, but CaptainTwig will certainly have a lot of surprise damage coming from that jungle.
Yeah, without a doubt. And one of the few games we actually get to see Chernobog be played instead of banned out. So Team Rival going to be picking up the Slavic Hunter here for their Scottish Hunter vote. Reppin' Team Rival. They've actually got 2 hunters from that region of the world, Ataraxia a Welsh player himself, hailing from Wales. And Vote, repping Scotland rather properly. Got an accent for the ages as well. If you haven't had the opportunity, look up some Vote interviews. This guy's got an accent. I love it.
Yeah, Rival doing great content as well on their own to make videos, kind of poking fun a little bit at that, similar to how Brad Pitt played that one character from Snatch.
You like Dags?
Oh, who doesn't like Dags? But do you like caravans?
What?
Caravan.
What? Wow, what a throwback, Tully. I think you're showing your age there.
I'm offended. A lady never tells.
Oh, man, you're crushing me already. Down to the rubber match here. Team Rival picking up game number 1. Obey Alliance picking up game number 2. Obey was just extremely dominant there. And, you know, I love the double down in the op watch here in the second match, or rather in the third game, because I feel like a lot of people at home would say cheese strategy or whatnot, but I legitimately think that Opwash with the recent changes is a demon to deal with. And Prime here just kind of showing it off. Big damage on top of Callus. And Obey Alliance going to dial it in on top of Vote as well as he's manaless.
Not too much to speak of, but he is level 5 with Living Nightmare, but in the mid
you later,
lane,
bud.
it's going to be a nightmare for Deathwalker.
Yeah, you just can't mess with that situation. The tight corners, the tight corridors, PrettyPriMe making it happen there. And the Opwash already finds himself 2 kills above the opposition almost 5 minutes in. Very nice play right there. Tied with his Hunter almost for experience per minute.
Not sure what Deathwalker was doing all the way up in the mid lane, but this is going to allow Xaliea all the freedom in the world to farm, let these minions kill themselves so he can get those Guardian Blessing stacks and deny plenty of golden experience, knowing Deathwalker already used that teleport.
Riveting gameplay from the Sobek. Standing still for so long, he hits the idle animation. Can you report him for AFK there, dude?
I don't know, actually.
Xaliea goes up and gets a drink because he's farming the wave efficiently for his Guardian's Blessing.
The one idle animation that I'm actually like always not a fan of is that Mercury one, because he like twitches to the side so far. So if you're like hiding around a corner waiting for a gank, you're gonna reveal yourself just from waiting for too long.
Yeah, that's like the old Halloween Thanatos skin. They've changed it, but it used to just laugh randomly. And I remember playing. You can find the clip on stream where he just laughs and ruins my gank. CaptainTwig looking to ruin Deathwalker's day here. Taunt in one more time, and Twiggy picks up one. iceicebaby does trade out, but Twig dashes away with the ultimate. Iceice slowed down just a little bit thanks to the power of PrettyPriMe. And iceicebaby!
He hits Xaliea, but can he follow up with a dash stun into evade and punish? Around the corner is going to be Callus from the left. Looking for it. Gets the ghastly breath, but instantly disrupted with the tail flip. Think it's going to be a wash, only killing iRaffer.
You think it's going to be a wash? I think it's going to be a wash over the wall, surviving and getting the blue buff away from the opposition.
Well, Callus actually wanted to pick up that blue buff, but he realized he already has his own purple buff. So, successful steal from Rival.
Oh. Well, you got me. Yeah, look, we're walking right past it. Xaliea.
Yeah.
Yep, it's going to be Rival with the successful steal. You are correct. I wanted you to be wrong.
It was very close to finding the steal, but at the end of the day, this Guardian versus Guardian matchup, Artio is very spam-centric, as is Sobek a little bit. So anytime you can find that advantage, you're going to be in a good spot. I think Xaliea needs to find his way back into laning phase, and with Guardian's Blessing, that could be a way to do it. Just get the GP5 naturally.
Yeah, he's just doing what he does. Brief pause in the action real quick. Robin's hitting something. We'll get back to the game in just a moment. But you want to see my impression? You want to see my
your Robin impression?
No, not my Robin impression. My Xaliea impression.
Oh, just like that. He's got to get his Guardian's Blessing stack somehow.
I hate it, dude. I hate it. I want to
Well,
see him
the
fight.
thing is, it's not only that. It's the fact that it was also Deathwalker taking a spill in that mid lane. So it's a double-edged sword. He's not only getting those stacks, he's also denying plenty of farm against the opposition.
Jokes aside, Xaliea doing exactly what he's supposed to here. Trying to get those Guardian's Blessing stacks online, get the extra gold. Yeah, certainly no issue there. PrettyPriMe playing aggressive because he's got his teammates with him. Nobody can come through here, otherwise they'll explode. Now there's the dash forward. Collins in trouble. Right side got to watch out for Wlfy on the flank, but it's 4 members from Obey Alliance here looking to punish Vote. He's low on mana, and CaptainTwig does a little bit more damage. And execution down there on the left side. CaptainTwig with another one.
Callus needed to find the Stygian Torment to disrupt the basic attack into the Fatal Strike, but he was a little bit too low to get close to the action. Obey Alliance recognized a little bit of a weakness against Rival, and that's going to be around the red buff.
You know, watching these teams go head-to-head has been really interesting because I think that Team Rival is a much better squad than Obey Alliance has been throughout the entirety of Season 5, and I'm pretty sure I can say that objectively, factually, back it up with stats, put a reference section at the end, and it's complete. Here at the fall split, man, I mean, Obey Alliance, they're turning up. PrettyPriMe is finally playing like the player that I really want to see. And you know what it is? I've talked to Obey sometimes when they're here at LAN, whenever the hell that was. And honestly, I'm like, hey man, you know, you've got so many different strategies. What's the real identity of Obey? And they say, look, when the going gets tough, we feed the sweet. Make PrettyPriMe be the hard carry. And that's what I'm seeing here in this game, in this set, and I want to see more of it from Obey Alliance.
But it's still very early in the fall split. It's only week number 1. Obey Alliance. Oh, hold that thought, though. The turnaround onto Twig.
Hot damn!
Wlfy with the play.
And iceicebaby with the assist. Well done right there from both of them. The stun from Wlfy, the power damage as well. That was a perfect 2-man play.
And that was still calculated through the defense mitigation of the Defender of Olympus. Well calculated from Rival, a true elite team that recognizes that there's a turnaround potential. It just brings you to that next level. And I wanted to reflect on that a little bit more as iceicicebaby's going to run away here. It's still the beginning of the first week of the fall split, right?
Sure.
Obey Alliance struggled a little bit against Mouse. It took them 3 games to get that set.
Yep.
Rival starting off the week by 2-0ing Energy.
Which is no small feat.
That's right. Beating the Summer Champions, not a bad way to start off your fall split to get that confidence right under you. But the fact that Obey Alliance did win game number 2 is still very impressive, but they're going to need to do it more than just 1 game. They need to get another.
No, absolutely. Right now, they're going to look for Deathwalker. A ton of damage on top of the solo laner. CaptainTwig trying to hold his ultimate. That's what he'll do. Patience, knowing that he's got enough damage without it. Just go for it. The plates.
Why use 2 ultimates when you only need 1? It's not as if Deathwalker can magically, go up in the sky the same way Chernobog can. iceicicebaby, though, up and down yet again through a distance. Gonna be Wlfy, but still CaptainTwig is the one to take out iceicicebaby.
Off the assist to the mid lane and the support. Number 3 on the damage charts is PrettyPriMe here. But the jungler has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this early game as we just now see the fire giant spawn.
Great play from PrettyPriMe. He was not lazy backing there. There was no vision from Obey Alliance from the direction that Callus was coming from. And that's a true disciplined player. When you think you might be safe under your own tier 1 mid tower backing, you're still not safe under your own tier 1 tower.
Prime, a veteran of the scene. Originally from that old Titan team. Him and his hunter Ataraxia have been playing together for years. Titan was that surprise second place squad so many moons ago. Right now, trying to find themselves in the first place. Having some struggles along the way. PrettyPriMe and Ataraxia is certainly hungry for more in Season 5.
I see what you did there.
You like that one?
Yeah, that was after Season 3.5. They're not hungry for more, I guess you could say.
Well, I think they're still hungry, actually.
A little bit. They could be a little bit hungry here. But at the end of the day, though, Obey Alliance doing a good start in this 3rd game, sitting at 6-3.
Yep, just a little bit above tie game, 2,200 in their direction. Certainly a nice foothold, if you will. You ever watch those rock climbers? The indoor rock climbers?
Sure.
2,000, 3,000 gold is that first sort of grab
level.
up for me, right? It's that first little nubbin, and then you got to keep finding the other little nubbins, and that's the objectives that come after it. Because you have, 2K gets you to put your foot up, and then you have the body strength to lift yourself for a team fight, grab 4K, grab 6K. But it's step by step that you get these leads and opportunities. Right now, CaptainTwig in a precarious situation has the help from iRaffer, and
the range.
Wlfy just barely short.
The range not there. CaptainTwig a little too speedy. Even the sprint from Xaliea saves the life of his jungler. Now it's Deathwalker that needs to be mindful of his positioning. Caught against 3, forced to retreat. And perfect Fatal Strike used defensively to just separate himself away from Wlfy's final judgment.
The Artio here from Deathwalker really coming in handy as Xaliea just can't charge prey anywhere near Deathwalker. It's really, really powerful, and I think that's kind of what's keeping Xaliea at bay to a certain extent.
I think Xaliea has performed very well on the Sobek thus far, assisting in 2 kills thus far of his team's 6. Wlfy taking quite a bit of a chunk against CaptainTwig, and look at this. The blink available. CaptainTwig wants some blood.
He's pinged out, though. Everybody knows where he's at.
The stun onto iRaffer. Double stun yet again, eating a lot of tower shots. Forced to dash away. This level Athena survives for the moment.
PrettyPriMe drops down the ultimate, making Team Rival separate themselves, making his teammate get out of there, making the other teammates on the Gold Fury completely by themselves. And Obey Alliance, remember that first little nubbin of 2,000 gold? They go ahead and they lift themselves up to 3,400. Now working their way to a nice moderate-sized lead.
iCeicebaby trying to find anything he can on a side lane, just sharing some farm with Deathwalker to give himself that level 11 marker. And a Ravana that doesn't have Blink, a little questionable, honestly, because he has so many escape tools between the Mystic Rush and also the overhead kick.
Sure.
He's a god in the jungle that you can easily get away without beads at level 1.
Yeah, certainly got to watch out for that one. And see which direction he's going to go in. What kind of boots does Collis have right there, Toli?
Looking at Callus. Oh, the Tims?
Oh, those are the tank boots again?
Yeah.
Gotta watch out, man. Because across the way, again, I always look for the dot characters because that's the easiest way to stack up the protection. So Collis rocking the Tims here, the reinforced Greaves. PrettyPriMe going to do a good job of ticking those up. So he's going to have early access to 21 protections on those boots.
And on top of the protections from Callus, is only going to get higher as he's still stacking the Gauntlet of Thebes.
Ah, the Thebes, yeah.
This is why Obey Alliance is able to win some of these early game team fights, is that Rival hasn't hit their stride quite yet. Still stacking some Devo gloves. His vote needs about 7 more, so after about 1 wave and 1 more minion, he should be able to get that one. But more importantly, it's all about the Gauntlet of Thebes. And then Wlfy working on some penetration, probably Spear of Desolation.
Raffer, taking note of it, also goes in the other direction and builds both auras, something that we really haven't seen too many players go for. But noticing that a lot of what Rival is doing is going to hit the mid game, he had the option and went for it to just go into both the Sovereignty and the Heartwork to protect from magical and physical, respectively.
Oh, nice double taunt onto Wlfy, but PrettyPriMe already used his abilities to poke out Wlfy, so there was no follow-up. Should have waited a little bit longer potentially, but not waiting at all is CaptainTwig. They don't even need to use an important relic or ultimate to get Ice Ice that low.
What a turnaround from game number 1 where he was like pure tank in the early game. Here looking for that early game dominance on the Achilles. Deathwalker here, and Vote's going to show up with his ultimate as well. CaptainTwig cut down to half HP. Ultimate from PrettyPriMe, but Raffer in trouble as Collis grabs the whole damn team. There's a pluck coming out from Xaliea, isolating Collis. But not enough damage is in hand for Obey at first. But at last, they do find the support player.
Deathwalker looking for anything that he can, but he's caught in no man's land.
Ataraxia
is cutting people down. CaptainTwig on the other side, taking out Deathwalker. 3 dead black and purple jerseys, allows Obey Alliance for the Fire Giant.
And Puch with the Thoth book, the cooldown boots, and halfway to the Gem of Isolation, making his presence known. And this is where Puch is scariest. Underneath the Phoenixes and underneath the Fire Giant Gold Fury areas, because they're large enough where a minimal amount of space is being eaten up by structures and geometry where it's all just damage area, and it just forces the opposition to either die or get out.
Yet again, the power spike of the double aura from iRaffer versus the no aura from Gauntlet of Thebes quite yet out of Callus, allowing Obey Alliance the edge in these team fights. You couldn't ask for a better engage from Rival.
No, not
in the
at all.
backline, Deathwalker creating a distraction. Callus goes in, hits 4 with the ultimate, forcing some defensive relics, pulls in 2, but I don't think Wlfy was prepared for that kind of play to follow up with his final judgment.
And this is something that Taco has been talking a lot about. So Taco has been specifically talking about foregoing Hunter's Blessing on Jing Wei in lieu of starting the Devo gloves to get a better power spike. Now, Ataraxia doing half of that. Ataraxia is leaving the Hunter's Blessing at home, but starting off the boots. Either way, the mentality is the same. Get your stuff on early. He's got 4 items here ready to go, and during that team fight, and that's why I think Obey, he got the double kill in that team fight, and very quickly started just murdering players. Fire Giant in tow. Obey Alliance tripling the 3 kills of Team Rival. They've got 7,000 in the lead, 10 kills in total, and PrettyPriMe hanging on by a thread, healed on in the hands of iCeicebaby.
That was a great final judgment from Wlfy, taking out PrettyPriMe and clipping Xaliea in the process. Ataraxia a little too low alongside Xaliea, forced to back off, but still this tier 2 tower on the right side doesn't have much life left in it.
Gold Fury could be a look for Team Rival if they group up, but they're too busy spreading the map because of Obey. This is actually a really cool move by Obey. They forced attention to the right side, which caused Team Rival to spread.
Don't even try this, Ice.
He's going to try it.
Half health.
He's going to try it. Blink, push, and Obey get it anyway. iCeicebaby, dry ice maybe, number 11, as iRaffer confirms his first kill of the contest with a nice little dash.
Oh, CaptainTwig looking for the kill. Not going to dive that tier 2 tower, but could be in a world of pain now, caught between 4 members. With both junglers taking an unnecessary spill here.
Yeah, I mean, not too big of a deal. He knows the Gold Fury went down because... So, CaptainTwig, that was an extended engagement. CaptainTwig was the reason that Rival couldn't respond to the Gold Fury with more players, was because he went to the right side immediately and forced 2 or 3 members from Rival to look to that right side short lane, and that allowed the Gold Fury to be wide open, sans iCeicebaby. So yeah, you know, CaptainTwig kind of falls down there haphazardly, but there wasn't a way out, and the way in ensured the Gold Fury kill.
And the thing is, iCeicebaby doesn't have that much burst damage right off the bat. Deathwalker yet again gonna be the focus fire. Great rotation from iRaffer. Just a little bit too much CC. This is where Deathwalker needs to seriously consider some crowd control reduction.
Okay.
Probably gonna get some Spirit's Robe action going on. And the thing was, when iCeicebaby blinked on that Gold Fury side, he was dead to rights no matter if he got that or not. But if he had Mystic Rush up and available, that would have been just a safer idea.
Yeah, don't forget, as Doug points out, Deathwalker's healing from the Artio also going to be cut down by the Opwash ultimate. Got that healing reduction alongside of it, so, you know, it's what an interesting choice. CaptainTwig going to miss his dash into Vote, but a little bit of a teleport coming out from his teammate might cause Vote to walk away.
An Aegis being used even in that little 1v1 scuffle. That's going to be noted, guaranteed by Obey Alliance, calling that relic timer out. 170 seconds remaining on that one. Fire Giant due to respawn in less than a minute. I don't think Rival can really leave their base to defend that Fire Giant. They're down about 12,000 gold. Pretty sure Obey spent it already on top of it.
Yep.
It's not going to be the enhanced Fire Giant quite yet. Needs to respawn after the 25-minute mark, but still sitting pretty to get the last 2 remaining tier 2 towers, and maybe even a Phoenix for Obey in this time.
I will disagree with you a little bit there, Anatoly. I would like to see Rival play, let's say, half defense. I want to see Vote split push because he has access to the ultimate, and I want to see Rival make use of Wlfy's long range-itude to be able to look for a cheeky steal. I don't want an all-out engage, but if they're able to steal the objective and Vote can then jump over with the ultimate, that's the kind of world I'm looking for. I would not want to see Rival kind of sit on their hands and give it up.
Wlfy needs to be a serious hero for Rival to steal away this one. Accidentally uses his beats down, unless he was anticipating iRaffer with the taunt.
I think that's what it was. He was trying to pre-beat the taunt. Collis with something, but Puch just cuts him down. CaptainTwig versus Wlfy, and I've seen this show before. Down goes the mid lane mage to the assassin. iRaffer trying to deal with the hunter on the run as iceicebaby split pushes up north, and that's going to cause Obey Alliance to look away from the objective. Vote trying to deal with iRaffer, but the tower working business on top of the hunter. Now iRaffer still going to watch the tier 2 go down. And Vote's going to come up, down. Oh, iRaffer wasn't expecting that, but he gets out anyway.
Deathwalker so close to finding the last hit. I like the idea that Vote had with the Living Nightmare. You apply a little bit of slow with the stacks of your former Shadow self, and then you get more movement speed and damage mitigation with the boost. But on top of it, just having the Athena dash, you absorb some of those basic attacks, and that's what allowed iRaffer to escape.
Ice is here, but Obey gets the objective anyway. Ataraxia airstrikes on the defensive. Slow down for iceicebaby. Damage PrettyPriMe has is lethal. And Xaliea gets the kill off of the assist of the mid lane mage. Top damage, by the way. Whack. Is he here in the studio? Is that really him? Puch. Oh my goodness. A visitor. Special guest on the mic. Obey Alliance taking care of the Pyromancer. Going to net themselves a nice 10,000 gold lead. Obey Alliance tripling Team Rival's kill count at 15.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to go take care of Puch.
He
was all up in our...
You lent him the microphone. That's what happened.
Yeah, I had to, he took away my microphone, and I had to show him the business.
Yeah.
No more Puch from here on out.
I don't know. Puch is certainly very healthy right now. Top damage, top dog, top Puch. Totally a little jealous.
A little bit.
He doesn't have as much Puch as PrettyPriMe.
What does that even mean? The Puch.
He's got the
What
Puch.
is the Puch? Is that like having the sauce?
It's like having the juice, my guy. Look at that, Ataraxia. He's got the Puch. DW wishes he could. Tier 2 on the left-hand side being aggressed on. And watch out. There's iRaffer. There's CaptainTwig. PrettyPriMe. He's thinking about going to HRX. He won't have to buy tickets at hi-rez.expo.com if things go his way, because he is Puching out.
Just all over the place there. It's only Vote left to defend against a full Fire Giant squad. Obey Alliance should be able to secure the third game and the set.
Yeah, man, look at that. Big sit-down timers for the guys on Team Rival. Here he comes, waddling up the lane, dropping the courses, making the explosions, and just Puching all over the opposition.
Vote gets one kill, but it's not enough. 25.5 minutes of play. Obey Alliance really stepping it up against Team Rival.
Yeah, man, they just couldn't handle the Puch. Puch out of control. And, you know, I'm joking. I'm having fun. But realistically, I think this mid lane pick turned things around for Obey Alliance. The enemy squad just couldn't handle it.
There's a lot of also iRaffer setup. The taunts were well placed. I think that a little bit of struggle for iceicebaby playing this Rav, and CaptainTwig playing really lights out this game.
Yeah, that too.
So the combination of those three elements just allowed Obey Alliance the huge advantage in game number 3. Also, Ataraxia was being a lane bully.
I was just gonna say that Ataraxia. I mean, he's usually very passive in lane. He never wants to fight.
Yeah, there's something about that.
He's very passive usually.
Yeah.
But here we see Nate. Long hair Nate came out. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
Long hair Ataraxia came out and made it work.
Long hair, don't care. That's what Nate's saying right there. Just making the plays happen. I don't know who MVP is, honestly.
Jokes aside, Obey Alliance stepping up as a unit and making this one happen. Some exciting picks, some exciting plays, and just great work overall from a squad that has struggled throughout the previous 2 splits. Here in the fall with HRX looming, I'm very excited to see how these guys do. Let's break it down with Taco and Finch.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Toli. Finch and Taco here to close out the day. An impressive win by Obey Alliance and one they much needed. They've had some struggles here throughout Season 5, but they get it done here in Game 3. And if my vote counts for anything, I'm thinking it's really Twig. That Achilles play was excellent.
That Achilles play was fantastic. I don't think that Twig could have been more on point with the rest of his team. I love the way that Twig played off of PrettyPriMe. Those two, it almost felt like they were never too far apart from each other, and that's exactly what I wanted to see out of this Alpwash Achilles combination.
Yeah, CaptainTwig was almost foolishly aggressive at times, and I mean that in the best possible way. You know, like down beyond back harpies or something, or enemy speed bus.
That T2 tower dive was something
to
be said about.
coming up from that one, but he was definitely creating space for the rest of the team. You know, he's finding the kills even without the executes. He was absolutely getting it done, but I can sing the praises of CaptainTwig all day long. That is not going to change the hearts and minds of those in Mixer chat. They believe in the PrettyPriMe. They believe in the Alpwash.
And it's hard not to after PrettyPriMe's performance throughout this set, because keep in mind, this isn't the first Alpwash game that we're getting to see out of Prime. He already had, just in the past game, a triple kill on this god, and now he's having yet another standout performance with the Puch, and you kind of have to be scared for your ranked games, Finch, because I don't want to admit it, but I think we might actually end up with a lot of mid lane Alpwash after this performance.
Yeah, he certainly was making it good. And Prime is certainly a strong player, but it didn't look even like Prime was doing a whole bunch of stuff that you couldn't see coming. Alpwash just looked strong, didn't he? The ultimate was such a strong zoning tool, there's no way to get away. He was able to use his 3, so anytime he healed during, get those stuns and extra damage. Prime was playing so well, I felt like, in this one. I might have given it to CaptainTwig, but that's why we let y'all vote out there in Mixer Chat land, so definitely thank you for that one, but those two working together were excellent.
I also think that Rival as a whole, it seemed like they kind of just were not on the same page. If anything, yes. I hate drawing it back to this, but it felt a little bit like the LAN performance in a sense, because they were just all over the place, constant disconnections from each other, and that they weren't really following up in the places that they needed to be. And the moments that they did choose to initiate, it typically wasn't when the entirety of their team was grouped up. And I think that's what really allowed for Ataraxia to come in with some great flanks on this Jing Wei. I think Ataraxia, he kind of went as like an underlying star there from this match, because all eyes were set on Twig and PrettyPriMe, but you kind of just forget that Nate was killing it the whole way through this match also.
He had an excellent game from in the dual lane in particular. Heard Tom kind of alluding to the fact that he was playing like a bully. Obviously, iRaffer was doing an excellent job setting up for them. I believe Xaliea ended 1-0-10, something like that, so he had a game for himself as well. Top to bottom, Obey looked great. And to talk just a small bit to the point you said about the disconnect, there's just this play from Rival that sticks out in my head where, like, Vote kind of turns away from the tower to leave, and then Collis dashes in for the taunt underneath the tier 1, and Vote wasn't even, like, facing the right way. There might just be a little bit where maybe they aren't on the same page, which is usually Rival's greatest strength.
Flustered, I think, is what Rival came up with. I don't really imagine that they were expecting the Alpwash to be as deadly as it ended up, because the Gem of Isolation pickup was a smart move on Prime's behalf. I mean, I don't think it really comes as much of a surprise to anybody that he would opt for that item within his build, but it worked out great with a little bit of pen online. There was plenty of shred, and I think also just managing to keep everybody confined to one space is what really allowed Obey's composition to take off here.
A lot of surprising results potentially from today. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at those standings and see where it is that everyone ended up shaking down, Taco. Europe, things are looking a little bit different than you might have expected. Energy all the way down at the bottom, yet to find a win due to their tough schedule, I imagine, against Rival and Dig. But Dignitas and Obey both 2-0 at the top of Europe.
Energy, probably not the start that they would have had envisioned for themselves coming into the fall split, but we still got a whole another 5 weeks to burn through, Finch, so there is going to be plenty of European action to handle.
That's right. There's even more action throughout the rest of this week. If we can go ahead and just take a look at the schedule of what you can expect tomorrow, and even sort of at a glance see some of the matches that you may have missed earlier. Again, I alluded to the Energy Rival one. That one might have been a bit of a surprise. E United had a great showing up against Space Station and looked just so strong on Wednesday. Tuesday, and we still have some great matches coming up tomorrow. Space Station against Trifecta and E United up against LG, who, remember, just got through winning their set earlier too up against Splice, so they're looking strong.
Both really important sets for all of the teams involved. E United, they want to keep their win streak going. They want to keep this split starting off hot. Same way for Luminosity. So whoever comes out on top there, it might end up being a lot closer than what people are probably thinking.
I absolutely think that you all should be worried about your FP right now if you're one of those people that's predicting, on the season ticket to, because it's just not easy anymore. These matches are all getting more and more competitive. But let's go ahead and take a look sort of at the overall broadcast schedule so you know when you can expect these matches. Remember, this upcoming Monday, it is a holiday here in America, so we won't be broadcasting on that day. Esports Weekly is going to be moved over starting at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, so you'll still get to see us roast aggro. Just make sure you check us out then. I do also want to point out you're still going to get to have your console action. We're kind of just bumping it forward, so week 2 will be happening in week 3 of everything else, and it'll keep going naturally, so there'll kind of be like one more Monday at the end of the split where we take care of that last week of console.
Well, thanks a lot, Finch. I appreciate the in-depth breakdown. That's definitely something that for you viewers back at home can always keep an eye out for as well, because it's not just the Pro League for PC that's got a lot of interesting action.
That's right.
I think the console is something really important. A little bit of a different meta, but you should still try to check it out if you're an up-and-coming player or somebody that really wants to get a better understanding of how Smite works.
Yeah, we got a ton of console players out there, so if that's where y'all want to be in that pro space, but you kind of live on console and not the PC, that's the place to get it done, PS4 and Xbox, so make sure that you're checking that out because we certainly love it here. But again, no matter where you are, no matter where you play, we're all trying to make it to the same spot in November. That's going to be HRX. Grab your tickets right now at hi-rezexpo.com. Open up a new tab. You don't even have to stop listening to me. You get to enjoy the Finch voice and purchase tickets to HRX all at the same time.
But you'll have to hear Finch live in person whenever you go down. It might sound a little bit different than how it does over the mic, but this sweet velvet can be all yours if you head down to Atlanta during November 16th through 18th.
That's right. You can hear me in person. The Finch himself. What more selling points do we need, Taco? You don't even think about the fact that you also get Paladins. There's a whole bunch of other stuff on the DreamHack floor. Just come say hi to me.
Especially say hi to Finch.
Yeah, I'm definitely going
to
be.
He likes that.
Yeah, I do. I love that. Everybody comes to me all the time. I will be so happy about that. But you all can be happy at home this weekend as well because gems are going to be a little bit more affordable for you. 35% off gem packs for a limited time. A lot of really cool skins are coming out. I think that Tier 5 Bologna skin should be hitting when 5.16 goes out. You're going to want to make sure you're stocked up on gems for that so you can complete that Divine Uprising and get that really cool Bologna skin and everything else that's out there.
And you never really know. Maybe you find something else that you've been wanting to pick up for quite some time. That 35% off could certainly help out.
That's right. Daily chests and everything too, so always good deals coming out there. There's a lot going on. We're doing a lot for you, Chad. You should be grateful. Taco, tell them they should be grateful.
I don't want to. I don't like saying those things. Somebody's going to clip it and put it to Reddit in the rage.
That's right. Mixer Chat's really on your side. You don't want to mess that up right now, right? Big fans of Taco out there, but me too. Taco's great. And for everyone else here at the studio, again, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. That's going to do it for us here.